For the spicy roasted cauliflower soup, you're going to need 1 large cauliflower, 2 tablespoons of ground cumin, 2 tablespoons of curry powder, 1 large white or yellow onion, 2 cloves of garlic, 2 pints of low salt vegetable stock, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, chives optional, fat-free yogurt, and a pinch of paprika. First thing we need to do is preheat the oven to 200 degrees. Oops. We're going to prepare the cauliflower now. When you're buying cauliflower, you want to make sure it looks nice and white like this. Sometimes you'll get little gray spots, or like this is starting to get a little brown. So just pay attention to that, and you want them nice and tight clumps. So the way I clean cauliflower, and I am no professional, you got to cut the stem. And I haven't washed this yet. I'm going to throw it in a colander and wash it after I do it. And this is one of the things I hate doing, is cleaning cauliflower. But you want to get the stem out. Okay. That looks pretty good. And then you can either break it with your hands, but then you get big pieces like this. And we kind of want to do bite-sized pieces for this recipe. So you're just going to cut it into little bite-sized chunks. And the reason why I hate it is you get all of this little cauliflower stuff everywhere. It drives me nuts. So that's all you're going to do with this huge cauliflower, is chunk it up and get the chunks, and then I'm going to put it in a colander and just rinse it off really well. So I'll get back to you at the next step. Alright, so I got the cauliflower washed. Then all you're going to do now is take your 2 tablespoons of cumin and 2 tablespoons of the curry powder into a freezer bag. Nice plastic freezer bag. Put 2 tablespoons of each. Well, that's a little extra, I guess. See that? And that's a lot extra of that. I'm gonna just like mix it up a little bit just so it gets incorporated together well. Then you're gonna take the cauliflower and you're gonna throw it in here and like toss to coat. And the cauliflower is wet, so that's gonna also help it to stick. So if you did really dry cauliflower, I don't know how well, I really have no idea how well that would stick. Oh, sorry. Close up the bag. Most important step. And we're just gonna shake it until everything gets coated. Just like that. It's all nice and coated. Looks good. Now I don't have a roasting pan, but I do have a cookie sheet. I greased it a little bit. You're going to throw this on there. And we are going to put this in the oven for about 15 minutes. The recipe says until it's like charred. So I'm going to try to put this out on one layer like this, and then I'm going to put it in the oven for 15 minutes, see if it gets a little charred, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so while the cauliflower's in the oven, I'm going to get the onion ready, and what the recipe wanted you to do is take the onion and the garlic and put it in a food processor and get it really mixed together. My boyfriend hates garlic, so we don't do garlic. And so I'm just gonna cut up the onion. Just a little bit. And I think they wanted more onion than this. This is actually quite a small onion, but this is what I could find at the store. So this is what I'm gonna use. And I'm just gonna chop up the onion. I'm not going for Martha Stewart. I'm just gonna roughly chop this, and then I will get on to the next part of the recipe. Alright, so at this point, the recipe goes haywire and doesn't explain a lot. So I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants. I'm going to put the oven on at a medium-high, and then it said, the recipe did say add a little bit of the broth. So I just got some vegetable broth. And then you're going to saute your onions, and if you were using garlic, your onion and garlic mixture. I'm not using any garlic, so we're just going to do the onions. And we're going to get these soft. And then by that time, the cauliflower should be done, and then we can throw the cauliflower in here. And I'm guessing with more of the broth, because it said 2 pints of broth, but it doesn't say where we're putting the broth. And there's a lot of other confusing things about this recipe. So we're just gonna kind of make it and see what the heck happens. So I'm gonna let this cook and get soft, which is a really good way to save on fat, because you're not using like oil or something to saute these, you're just using liquid. So I'll get back when these are nice and sauteed, and we'll go on to the next part. Okay, so the onions are now nice and soft. It has been 15 minutes for the cauliflower, but that did not get charred. It's only at 200 degrees. I don't know how long something's gonna get charred with being at 200 degrees. I put it in for another 15 minutes. I think I'm gonna have to up the temperature on the cauliflower to get it charred, because 200 is not much. So I'm just gonna turn this off right now until the cauliflower is done, but the onions are soft, pretty much all of the liquid, and I used probably about 3 tablespoons of vegetable stock if I were to guess. So I will get back on as soon as the cauliflower gets charred, and we'll figure out how to put the rest of this recipe together. Alright, so I've been dinking around with this cauliflower now for a while. I ended up turning the oven on to 400 for 15 minutes. I think this is the best I'm going to do. It smells really good, so I think if I'm going to make this again, I would put the oven up 400 for 15 to 20 minutes and let it get brown, because this isn't charred at all. It's slightly brown, but I want to get this recipe going, so we're going to go on to the next step. Alright, so I put the cauliflower back in the pan, and I just got a quart of vegetable broth. I'm going to pour this over. Hopefully it'll cover. Like I said, directions at this point is go at your own pace, I guess. Figure it out yourself. So my goal is to cover all of the cauliflower. I'm going to turn it on high on the oven, and then I'm going to get it to a boil. Then I'll cover it and then put it down to a simmer and let the cauliflower cook, because right now the cauliflower is still pretty chunky, not chunky, but hard, you know, raw. So yeah, that looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to put this on high. I'm going to get this to boil, and then I'm going to cover it and simmer it until the cauliflower gets soft. Now, what I like my soups to be is putting it in the Vitamix and getting it like a puree. My boyfriend hates it. So after this gets soft, I'm going to give him 2 servings, because the recipe also doesn't say how many servings this makes. I know with the blood type diet, you don't really care about quantities and things, you just eat and eat well. But I'm going to break this down to 4 servings, I think. And so I'm going to take 2 servings out for him so he can have the chunky broccoli, and then I'm going to take the rest and puree it for me. So I'll get back to you guys in a little bit. Alright, it's just starting to boil, so I'm going to cover it. I'm going to reduce the heat, and I'm going to say for about 10 minutes. We're just trying to get the cauliflower to cook down some more. Okay, so here's the soup's done. Mine's over here, my boyfriend's is over there. What you're going to do is take about a tablespoon of the yogurt and put it on top when you eat it. Other ways to eat it to make it a little bit more heartier. So for like me being a type A, I could add some chicken in there, some tofu, or just eat it as is. And then for my boyfriend who's blood type B, I could make some lamb, some ground lamb with some more Indian spices that he could have and put it in there. So you can dress this up a little bit. You could put more vegetables in it, different types of vegetables other than the cauliflower. So I think this is going to be a really versatile soup, and it smells amazing, and I cannot wait to eat it. For this next recipe, we're flying by the seat of our pants. So I'm trying to do a lasagna recipe for both blood type A and blood type B. This has become a problem and an issue because nothing coincides and works together. It's going to be a nightmare. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to try, and we're going to make a lasagna. So, and then I was like, well, we need pesto for the lasagna instead of tomato sauce. Did I buy any of the right ingredients to make pesto? No! I don't have Parmesan cheese. We can't have pine nuts because I think blood type B don't do pine nuts. I thought I had walnuts. No walnuts to be found in this household. So I am just going to kind of wing it on the pesto and the rest of this dish, and we're going to see what happens. So that's why I didn't include a layout of ingredients, because we're praying Jesus helps us. So let me get the camera moved over, and I'll show you how I'm going to make a pesto for the sauce. First thing we're going to do is set the oven to 350. Get that preheated. So we got our food processor here. This isn't a great angle, but this is the best angle I think for us to do. I have a ton of spinach. A ton. And I have no basil. So, well, not that I don't have no basil, I just don't have a lot of basil. So I'm going to do 3 cups, I think, of spinach. So I have a ton of almonds. I have pine nuts, but I think blood type B can't have any. So I'm going to do a half a cup of almonds. And these are just raw almonds. They're not salted or toasted or anything of that nature. Put that in there. I do have some nutritional yeast. I have no Parmesan, so nutritional yeast is really nice for a flavor of cheese. I'll probably put 2 tablespoons of this in there. And then olive oil. You need a lot of olive oil. Oh, and I'm going to do like a tablespoon of lemon juice. Just to kind of add a fresh flavor to it, okay? Literally flying by the seat of my pants right now. And then I've got some olive oil. Olive oil, very important. I'm going to put 2 tablespoons in here, and then we're going to turn on the food processor, and as it's going, we might need to drizzle some more in here to get it incorporated into a thick sauce. Thick sauce, that's what we're kind of trying to go for. All right, let's see what happens. I might have to adjust. I might have to add some ingredients. This is an adventure, guys. It looks good. I'm going to push down the sides a little bit. Just to see. And I need 4 cups. So looking from this madness, I'm going to have to make some more. Because this is definitely not 4 cups. And I'm going to add a little bit more olive oil, I think. You want it a sauce consistency, but you also want it a little thick too. So we're not measuring the olive oil. That is what we got going on, guys. And that looks good to me. Let's see if it tastes good. Could taste awful. Actually, really good flavor. Now, I don't have any more basil, but I gotta make more of this. So I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'll get back to you on that one. Okay, so for blood type Bs, they can have ground beef. I believe it's a neutral for them. So for my boyfriend's side of the recipe, I'm going to brown up some ground beef. This is a pound of ground beef here. Then I'm going to add to season it. I'm just going to use some Italian seasoning. I did not I did not go through the list on here to see exactly what's in here, if it's A-okay or not. Try not to go totally nuts with this program. So let's open. I'm gonna do probably a tablespoon just to really season it up and give it a really good flavor. So just do a tablespoon of Italian seasoning, and then we're gonna get this nice and brown, and that'll be for his side of the lasagna. All right, time to get my side ready. I've got a pound of silken tofu. So this isn't the firm tofu. This is the really soft tofu. So you want one of those, and then I'm gonna put some oregano. I'm taking part of this recipe from the book, but I am modifying it a little bit because I don't have everything. And then you want to take 2 cups of mozzarella cheese. And this is for the blood type A. So, and I like tofu, so 2 cups of cheese, and then you're gonna add 1 egg. Lady Bear. And then we're just gonna add 1 regular egg to it. It's 1 egg, and then they wanted you to add spinach per the recipe, but since we made the pesto out of spinach, I really didn't want to get that to, you know, the lasagna to be too spinachy, because then it would just not taste good. If you wanted to add some salt, you could add it here. I'm not a big proponent of adding salt to things. There's a lot of salt in cheese, so. All right, and you're just gonna see, like, the silken tofu makes it so much easier. So if you're making sauces or like Alfredo or something like that, then you would want the silken. The firm one is more if you're gonna like bake it or fry the tofu. So I just need to get this egg mixed in a little bit better. All right, that looks good. It took some doing, but I found some gluten-free made out of rice pasta. So the ground beef is all brown, and I've got a pot of boiling water. Now the directions say you do not have to boil these, you could add extra sauce, but we're not doing tomato sauce, so I thought I'd better make these. So I've got a big thing of boiling water, and only for 4 minutes, and then you're gonna let them rest on a dish towel. The reason why you do this, if you've ever cooked anything that was rice related and you don't separate it, it is going to become one congealed mess. So I'm gonna get the noodles ready and raring to go. All right, time to put the lasagna together. So we're gonna take our sauce, which is the spinach quote unquote pesto, and you're gonna put it on the bottom of the pan. So like if you were making traditional lasagna, you would put the tomato sauce on the bottom of the pan. But we're just gonna put this down. This has a lot of olive oil in it, so I'm assuming it's not gonna stick. That could be my famous last words. I don't know. Then we're gonna take some noodles. Should I do it this way? And these are super sticky because they're rice, so kind of like an FYI. Layer them a little, I guess. Get one more down here. And then we're going to take, so I'm making half mine and half my boyfriend's. So I'm going to take some of this vegan, well not vegan, tofu mixture. And we're going to put that here on this side for me. And I'm being really generous with mine because it's supposed to be for the whole lasagna. This is a 9x13 baking pan, if that helps you figure out what you're doing. Okay, and then I'm going to take my boyfriend's beef, and we're going to pour some on this side. And then with his, we're going to add some cheese, because his doesn't have any cheese, so. Just some mozzarella to his. I ain't measuring it, we're just gonna go for it. Some nice mozzarella on that side. Instead of quite a bit of sauce, I'm actually going to, I think, put some sauce on here too. Which is going to be hard to smush around, but make it work, right? Probably should have made some more of this pesto, because I'm running low. It's not going to be a very layered lasagna, let's just put it that way. We're going to do another layer of noodles. That, and then I'm going to put the rest of the meat on the side over here. A little bit more of my tofu stuff, which really doesn't look appetizing. I'm just going to be honest with you. This doesn't look good. I guess for my boyfriend's side, if I thought about it a little bit more, oh shoot, I do. I have ricotta in the thing. I could have mixed it with some ricotta or some cottage cheese, because I think he can have cottage cheese. I think. I don't know. Like I said, we're flying by the seat of our pants and just hoping that this tastes delicious and that it is good. So we're going to shove this in a 350-degree oven, and I forgot for how long. Like I said, I'm kind of following the recipe in the book that they had for the lasagna, but not really, because I'm trying to make it for 2 people. And where the heck is the recipe? Alright, so we're going to put in the oven, a 350-degree oven, for 30 to 45 minutes or until done. Don't know what that means. I think it's going to make 4 servings. I think it'll be pretty delicious. So I'll show you once it gets out of the oven. Okay, so the lasagna's been in the oven for 35 minutes. It looks pretty done. I had some leftover noodles and some of the blood type A tofu mixture, so I just put it in a little thing. This makes about 6 servings, and it smells really good, so we're going to eat this now.